Hey everyone, Keith McGinnis here with KCDC Designs out of Eagle, Nebraska. Check this one out. That actually was an experiment. It turned into a very happy accident. Let's see how it happened. All right, I'm going to try something completely different here. I just fogged the board with some leather brown, and this is a, I'm not going to call you what I named it, but it's a mixture of Alumilite Brown Dye and Alumilite White Dye to make up kind of a, I'm calling it baby poop brown. I'm going to call it what it is. And I have some Pearl Shimmer, and that is Color of Passion. And I have brown sugar, which is a Stardust Mica powder. And this is another one because I wanted a cream color. So going with some earth tone colors here. And I also have some Alumilite Brown Dye. And man, I really like that color. Let's pour it out and see what we got. That's my dark brown. Here's my baby poop. Brown. Look at that left arm working away. Woo-hoo! And then we got our brown sugar. So we do have 3 different levels of brown. And I don't want this to get too dark, so I got to be a little bit careful because I know the lighter colors I have here are going to kind of get swallowed up. And I probably should have left a little bit of that behind, but this is an experiment. And the last one I have is this kind of a light tan. Yep, I'm going to lose my white. I can tell it already. Okay, now I've never done this before, but I'm going to do more than, I'm just going to mix all this together. One of the reasons this is so different for me is I normally am not going to meld that much because, as we know, it can make the colors look really muddy, but it actually ended up looking really, really cool. That baby poop really took over, didn't it? Can I say that? On live TV? Baby poop? Man, I like some of the swirling in there. Especially the Alumilite Brown Dye. Looks pretty cool. So I decided I really liked the darker areas, which is actually Alumilite Brown Dye. So that's what I'm doing here is I took my popsicle stick and I'm just dipping it into the Alumilite Brown Dye. And on video, it looks like black, but it is Alumilite Brown Dye. But what I want to do is just kind of get a darker contrasting color in there. So obviously I'm not able to meld it in like I did the rest of the colors, so I'm just trying to get some of that put in, and you can see when I put that in there, I'll swirl it a little bit and not just kind of making straight veins. I'm not really being too terribly strategic where I put it. That one right there that I'm putting in ended up kind of giving me what looked like a hard line, so I did take my hand and melded that in just a little bit. But I think that Alumilite Brown Dye, adding that in, helped with getting a little bit of contrast in there. And we'll let that soften up a little bit. All right, so I'm going to let that cool off, and then we're going to use a little bit of white spray paint and get some lacing in there. Let's first try a little bit down in here. And some bigger drops. I'm using Rust-Oleum white gloss spray paint, and the white gives more of a lacing effect than if you were to use the black, which creates more cells, and that's kind of what I was after, was the lacing effect. Now, in hindsight, for those of you who do this,
I'm only probably 15 minutes into the pour right now, and normally when I'm going to fracture with spray paint and isopropyl alcohol, I want to wait until that epoxy stops moving so much. It's very, very fluid right now. So we all know patience is a very, very difficult thing when creating epoxy designs. So in hindsight, a couple things. One is I probably, doing this again next time, I'm going to wait probably 30 minutes for a couple reasons. One is I want to see how the design is going to continue to soften and continue to move. And then also at 30, 40 minutes, it's done moving. And then I can spray the, like I'm doing here, I can spray the spray paint on there and hit it with isopropyl alcohol. And the lacing is more going to stay in place. So of course, there's times that I want to do that really early because I don't want the cells too defined, but in this case, I didn't want to cover up a lot of the design because the colors are really, really cool. I mean, it turned out better than what I thought it was going to. But in hindsight, I'll wait a little bit next time.
Well, the alcohol appears to have dissipated. I'm going to try spritz it one more time without spraying more paint on it. Get a little bit bigger drops. Oh, I really like that. Oh, I like that a lot. We're going to come back. We're going to take a look at it, possibly do the same thing. That's pretty darn cool right there. Wowza. Wowza. All right, we'll let her set. We're going to come back. How about the colors? What do we think of the colors? Those are pretty earth-tony, nice earth-tony type colors. Wow. I might have to do that again without putting the spray paint on there. I can't decide. I'm going to have to wait and see what this looks like in a day or two.
So as I do a flyover, this is actually about a couple hours later. You can see where those cells really, really softened up a lot, and it really, really turned out nice. So best thing I did right here was to walk away. But I really like the colors. I like the fact that I added that Alumilite Brown Dye in there to add some darker contrast. I do like some of the lighter pockets, and doing this again, I'm going to get a little bit more of those lighter pockets in there. One more thing I wanted to point out, I filmed with my GoPro, and it has kind of a green hue to it. This picture here was taken with my camera, and it's much more representative of what the actual piece looks like, where it's a lot more browns. But it really, really turned out cool. Thanks everybody for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. And once again, this is Keith McGinnis with KCDC Designs, and we'll see you in the next video.